The 2021 Moroccan general election was held on 8 September 2021 to elect all 395 members of the House of Representatives. The National Rally of Independence led by Aziz Akhanouch won the most seats, a gain of 65 seats from the prior election. The Liberal Authenticity and Modernity Party took second place with 87 seats, a net loss of 15 seats. The centre-right Istiqlal Party gained 35 seats and took third place with 81 seats total. The governing Justice and Development Party won only 13 seats, a net loss of 112 seats for the party. July 2020 marked the 21st year of King Mohammed VI's reign in Morocco. The first 2 decades of the 21st century saw civil and political reforms, as well as popular disillusionment with the socio-economic and political state of the nation. In response to the 2011 protests that occurred as part of the Arab Spring, King Mohammed VI announced a series of constitutional reforms, passed through a national referendum in July 2011. The reforms were described by the BBC as expanding the powers of Parliament and the Prime Minister, but leaving the king with broad authority over the government. The Islamic State's presence in the region also posed a threat to Morocco throughout the 2010s. In 2014, the Freedom of the Press report gave Morocco a rating of not free. After the 2016 elections, protests continued to occur. In 2016 and 2017, a movement known as Hirakrif demonstrated in the streets of northern Morocco against corruption and unemployment. In 2017, the Freedom of the Press report upgraded Morocco's rating to partly free. By June 2019, the BBC reported that almost half of Moroccans considering emigrating to other countries. The Economist Intelligence Unit rated Morocco a hybrid regime in 2019. 2020 saw the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. In March, a law was passed to outlaw many forms of making posts online. The government claimed the bill was written without prejudice to the constitutionally guaranteed freedom of digital communications, and shortly began arresting people for posting information it deemed to be false. Morocco's initial response to the pandemic put it among the world's COVID-19 success stories. In the first months of the pandemic, lockdown measures first implemented on the 20th of March began to be eased after several months, and a third phase of gradually lifting the lockdown had begun on the 19th of July. However, the reduction in cases came at a cost. By late July, the government's actions during the pandemic would be described as a reversal of democratic reforms, with parliament being sidelined, its duties increasingly usurped by the Mukhzin. The Interior Ministry suspended local council meetings, an action the constitution reserved exclusively for parliament. While a restriction on visitation from foreign business visitors was lifted on the 10th of September, a sharp increase in cases prompted the restrictions to be reinstated. In November 2020, the Polisario Front ended a 29-year ceasefire agreement with Morocco in Western Sahara, blaming Morocco for breaking the terms of the agreement. In December, the Israel-Morocco Normalization Agreement established diplomatic relations between the two nations. Morocco became the 6th Arab League member to do so, and the 4th in the space of 4 months. In exchange, the Donald Trump administration announced that the United States would recognize Morocco's claim over Western Sahara. Parties confirmed to be contesting the election included the ruling Justice and Development Party. Morocco has a bicameral legislature, whose 2 chambers are the House of Councillors and the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives has 395 seats, which are elected by proportional representation and consist of 2 tiers. 305 seats are elected from 92 multi-member constituencies and the remaining 90 are elected from a single nationwide constituency. Nationwide seats are reserved. 60 are set aside for women and 30 are set aside for people under the age of 40, of which 15 must be women. An amendment to electoral law assigned an additional 15 reserved seats for female representatives. In the 2021 Parliament, Interior Minister Abdelouafi Lafti said in September 2020 that the political representation of Women in Morocco had not yet reached the required level, but that concerted efforts would ensure a significant and fair representation of women in the 2021 elections. The new law calculates the allocations of seats based on the number of registered voters, rather than the number of those who actually cast a ballot. All citizens who are at least 18 years old, or will reach the age of 18 by March 2021, are eligible to vote. The period for submitting voter registration requests ended on the 31st of December 2020. The electoral calendar was unveiled on the 10th of May 2021. While the municipal, regional and legislative elections traditionally took place on different days, in 2021, a new electoral law was passed under which all three would be held on the